Hi everyone, this is WrestleXX, bringing you Thursday the 3rd of November 2016's WWE News and Rumours. Now this is the second video that I've uploaded today, so make sure you go and check out the first one if you haven't already. Well, let's get right into it. Now the first story that I will be talking about is absolutely huge. It is the Hulk Hogan versus Gawker lawsuit. Now apparently they've reached an out-of-court settlement reportedly worth $31 million, making Hulk Hogan an even richer man than he already is. But this is significantly less than what the original lawsuit was worth, the amount that Hulk Hogan was originally suing Gawker for, which was $115 million. But I imagine Hulk Hogan doesn't want to take it through court anymore, and the out-of-court settlement of $31 million is more than enough for him to be satisfied with over this whole sex tape ordeal. So he doesn't have to go to court anymore. He won't be videoed being in court. He can just get away from it all, forget about it, put it in the past and move on. Now Scott Hall, a good friend of Hulk Hogan, said on Twitter that he thinks that Hulk Hogan will return to WWE within 5 years. And I would agree with him. I can definitely see Hulk Hogan being accepted by WWE once again and make an appearance on the show, especially with how big of a legend that Hulk Hogan is. I'm not sure it will take as long as 5 years though. I think that he will definitely be back in WWE within 2 to 3 years for his usual sporadic random appearance. The second story that I will be talking about is another huge story, and that is Undertaker returning to WWE. It's been announced that he will be coming back for SmackDown Live's 900th episode, and personally I can't wait to see him. I love The Undertaker. He's probably my favourite wrestler when I was growing up as a child, and it will be good to see him in WWE again. I was thinking about what I'd like to see when he returns, and I would like to see possible seeds planted for his WrestleMania feud. Obviously, a lot of people on the internet want to see The Undertaker versus John Cena, and especially with The Undertaker returning to SmackDown, it sort of fuels that speculation that he will be facing John Cena, and I would like to see some sort of confrontation between them. But I imagine it will just be a random appearance by The Undertaker. He'll take 5 minutes to do his entrance, he'll get interrupted by some jobber, and I don't know, someone like Jack Swagger or somebody, they'll interrupt him, they'll get beat in about a minute, and that will probably be it. But I would like to see him and John Cena sort of have a bit of an interaction where it can be followed up by The Undertaker costing John Cena in the Royal Rumble, and that will sort of lead into WrestleMania, rather than it being just a random I want to face you at WrestleMania feud with no backstory, no heat there. Personally, that's what I would like to see from The Undertaker's return. So the third story for this video will be the TLC main event. Now this is a SmackDown only pay-per-view, and it will be in December, and Shane McMahon announced the main event during Talking Smack after SmackDown, and it will be AJ Styles versus Dean Ambrose in a TLC match for the WWE World Championship. Now I would like this to have been announced on the actual SmackDown show. For me, WWE are announcing too many things outside of their live hours in Raw and SmackDown. Too many things are being announced on the network shows and through social media for me. But it will be interesting to see James Ellsworth's involvement in this match, especially as it's a no DQ match. So will it be determined beforehand that he's banned from ringside? I imagine even if he's banned from ringside, like we saw on SmackDown SmackDown this week, even if he's banned from ringside, he probably will turn up at ringside. So it's interesting to see what will happen there. Will he cost Dean Ambrose again, or will he get one up on AJ Styles again? It's quite interesting. It's amazing how James Ellsworth's characters evolved so much so that he is the talking point in the main event of a WWE pay-per-view. I bet he didn't picture that just a few months ago. Personally, for this match, I would like AJ Styles to return. His championship run has been golden so far, and I'd like to see him go on to face HBK, Shawn Michaels at the Royal Rumble, which has been rumoured. Personally, I don't think that would happen, but if it does, that would be absolutely fantastic. And I would like to see Dean Ambrose out of the title picture for a while. I'm a massive Ambrose fan, but I think I don't know, he needs a new direction rather than just chasing the title that he lost at Backlash. So pretty much since Money in the Bank, where he won the briefcase and cashed in on Seth Rollins this year, he has been in the title picture for about, going up until TLC, it will be about 6 or 7 months, and I would like to see him out of the title picture for a while. I would like to see Ellsworth cost him, and we have like a feud between Ambrose and Ellsworth, where Ambrose just absolutely destroys him. And I think that'll be good for Dean Ambrose's character. A bit of a tweener, showing a bit of like heel tendencies there. But as long as he's out of the title picture, but still as like a main eventer, that's where I would like to see Dean Ambrose. So as you might be aware of, WWE are on their biannual tour of Europe. They do it after WrestleMania, and then they do it in November every single year. And Raw and SmackDown will both be in Glasgow, Scotland. Now, Brock and Goldberg are not announced for these shows, so don't expect to see them there. But I hope that the WWE recognises that this is Scotland that it's going to be in, and not have their usual London, typical British set, where they roll out their red telephone boxes and have a black taxi cab. I would like to see a Scottish set, because it won't fit in if they try and make it look like London, where it's actually in Scotland, which is completely different. It would be like having a New York City set, but the show is in Los Angeles, for example. It just won't work at all, and I hope that they introduce a Scottish set for the show. So the Wrestling Observer have reported negotiations going on between WWE and UFC to try and get a UFC star booked for WrestleMania. Now, Ronda Rousey is the first choice, but apparently Conor McGregor is also being considered. Personally, I would like to see Conor, because we've already seen Ronda at WrestleMania. But if it is Ronda Rousey, then I'd like it to be an actual match rather than just a repeat copy of what happened at WrestleMania 31, where she took out Stephanie McMahon. But I imagine that's the direction that they might go in. I can't see her wrestling in an actual match, although it is rumoured that she will be leaving UFC, so there might be a bit more freedom for her to work a wrestling match because she isn't tied down to a company. But if it is Conor McGregor, I've no idea what they'll have him doing, and that's why I think Ronda Rousey is the more logical choice, because I just don't know what you do with Conor McGregor at WrestleMania. Let me know in the comments what you would like to see him do. So the penultimate story that I will be talking about today is that Brock Lesnar has been announced for a house show in Mexico City, which is obviously Mexico's capital, and it is for the 3rd of December. So his opponent will be Rusev. Now Rusev's working with a lot of the top stars. He worked with The Rock, John Cena, Goldberg, Brock Lesnar now. So it shows that WWE do trust him, but he is getting squashed by these legends. But it's not really harming him. Personally, I'd like to see the legends not booked as being superior to the current stars, but I can understand why they do it. And Brock Lesnar versus Rusev will be a solid match, which is, again, it's only a house show, but you would imagine Brock would win. So the final story today is that Ric Flair has commented on the Hell in a Cell main event, which involved his daughter Charlotte and Sasha Banks. Now Ric has said that 2 huge spots were taken out of this match because they were afraid that it would hurt Sasha. Now one of them is rumoured to be a moonsault from the top of the cell, which is absolutely crazy. There's no way that would happen at all. There's too many ways that could go wrong. So Rick also praises Vince for putting them on last, but he says that nothing could have followed it, and that is why they went on last. But I disagree with that, because Rollins versus Owens was absolutely match of the night. It was the best match on the card, and it took away a lot from the women's main event for me. Rollins versus Owens told effectively the same story as Charlotte versus Sasha, where the babyface had an injured back. They were struggling, but they powered through, but in the end they lost. It was the same story for both matches, but overall I did enjoy Sasha versus Charlotte. I didn't like the finish where Charlotte wins the title. The spot that I enjoyed most was when Charlotte powerbombed Sasha through the announcement table. That looked absolutely brutal. But that is it for today's video, guys. A lot of news to talk about. There was 2 videos, so like I said, if you haven't watched the first one, go over and watch that one. Let me know what you think about today's WWE news in the comments below. Like this video, subscribe to my channel, follow me on Twitter, which is @WrestleXX, and I'll see you next time.